Have you ever waited at a neighborhood shop, clutching that narrow slip in your palm, and sensed prior to scratching, prior to glimpsing any numbers, that something beyond you was summoning you? Not the pastime itself, not the dazzling jackpot total glowing above the till, rather a curious, close-to-the-heart murmur. This is yours. We're conditioned to believe the lottery is strictly numerical, astronomical odds piled up like a sheer cliff. We are handed figures 1 in millions and informed that triumph belongs only to a tiny elect. Yet the truth you won't see on a roadside sign is this: abundance is not subordinate to likelihood. It pours forth ceaseless and measureless from the source that underlies all creation. Viewed this way, a lottery ticket is more than a wager. It is a golden key, not for a distant guarded vault, but for a treasury that belongs to you and has always belonged to you by divine inheritance. You are not acquiring riches, you are recalling them. Imagine this: you are at the edge of an ocean, not of water, but of gleaming coins under an ever-present sun. Tides deliver provision unendingly, every swell, a benediction, every eddy, a supply. This sea is shoreless and bottomless. The sole constraint on what you receive is the size of your container. Arrive with a thimble, and you gather a thimble's worth. Arrive with a barrel, and it spills over. Come with your entire being unbarred, and you are soaked in wealth. This reflects the law of divine provision, boundless by nature. If you meet the lottery with scarcity consciousness, you treat it as an improbability, maybe if I'm lucky. If you meet it with abundance consciousness, you recognize you are aligning with one among countless avenues through which God may bestow favor. The digits are not the origin, they are the channel. Consider it a current of divine ideas, each one holding the capacity to become form. Somewhere beyond ordinary perception, the winning sequence already is precise whole, awaiting the instant your frequency resonates with it. The ticket you hold is not accidental. It is a tangible reverberation of that resonance. Scarcity thinking murmurs, not everyone can win. Abundance awareness answers. There is enough for all, for the source is infinite. Scarcity insists, the odds are against me. Abundance declares, there are no odds in the divine mind, only certainty. Scarcity anticipates deficiency. Abundance anticipates surplus. You have probably been trained to view wealth as limited, stockpiled by a small group and contested by the rest. That is a collective mirage, a flicker of shadows on the walls of an unopened mind. In spiritual actuality, abundance is as ordinary and omnipresent as your breath. You do not rise each day doubting there will be adequate oxygen. Why then would you assume that divine wealth could run dry? The lottery functions as a sign, a radiant metaphor calling you to recall that nothing lies outside divine governance. You need not beat the odds. Your task is to align with the limitless current, and the conduit of blessing will widen. It might appear as a prize ticket, an unforeseen bequest, an enterprise opening, or an abrupt increase. The form is God's prerogative. Preparedness is yours. Pause and envision yourself not merely hoping or wishing, but knowing that the prosperity you desire belongs to you now. Visualize yourself strolling to the counter with composure, accepting the ticket as if it had long been inscribed for you. Hear its faint rustle in your grasp. Sense the assurance in your heart. You are not entertaining a pastime. You are enacting a demonstration of spiritual principle. Therefore, the real inquiry is not, what are the chances? The true inquiry is, Am I aligned with the truth that all I desire already belongs to me? This transition from randomness to assurance, from lack to plenty, begins the opening of the gates. Once understood, the lottery stops being numerical and becomes vibrational. And when your frequency harmonizes with divine wealth, the universe is obliged by law to answer. Share in the comments if you have ever sensed destiny's tug while purchasing a ticket before scratching a single number. Prior to the minting of a single coin, before a bill ever exchanged hands, and long before humans quantified worth abundance already existed. It coursed like rivers in the garden, sparkled like constellations in the heavens, and unfolded like innumerable blossoms upon the earth. In those first mornings of creation, no creature fretted over whether there would be enough. The sparrow never questioned tomorrow's worms. The lion never doubted prey on the plains, and humanity, made in the likeness of the infinite, received dominion not for accumulation, but for living with fearless confidence that supply is steady and whole. This is your authentic inheritance, the immovable conviction that you are ceaselessly and abundantly supplied. Florence Scovel Shinn, with enduring insight, affirmed your word is your wand. And a wand, after all, is the instrument of a magician, one who brings forth form from the formless, translating the unseen into the seen. Yet her meaning was not sleight of hand, it was lawful operation. When speech accords with divine truth, words function as creative decrees. They contour reality. They call supply from the unseen reservoir. Thus, when you declare, "I am blessed with divine abundance," you are not wishing. You are not play acting. You are exercising humanity's oldest endowment, the power to speak life into being. Yet the world conditions you differently. It whispers, "Be realistic." It cautions, "Don't get your hopes up." It swaddles the truth of your inheritance in garments of constraint. Countless people have been convinced to exist like paupers in a royal palace, famished while seated next to an overflowing table. I once heard a tale about a boy called Samuel. He grew up in a humble household where his parents frequently described money as scarce, perpetually tight. Yet Samuel cherished a particular game. In the backyard, he would slip into his father's roomy suit coat and imagine himself a millionaire entrepreneur. At a small folding table, he would draft checks to make-believe charities, joyfully dispersing large sums. For Samuel, there was no doubt about his means to give. In his play world, the funds simply existed available for him to use in blessing others. Years went by. Samuel became an adult, retaining that inward stance toward finances. He certainly labored with diligence, but more importantly, he anticipated plenty, and plenty greeted him. By his mid-30s, he had built a flourishing firm, and consistent with his childhood play, he issued checks to actual charities, enriching many lives. Samuel's account is not a tale of fortune. It illustrates inhabiting the truth of one's inheritance well before outward proof arrives. Here is where many stumble. They assume abundance must be earned, qualified for, or deserved after performance. Yet the law of divine abundance is unmistakable. It is not merited. It is inherited. A billionaire's child does not question her claim to her parents' estate. She understands it belongs to her. In the same way as offspring of the infinite, your inheritance is immeasurable. The Psalms declare, "The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein." If creation and its plenitude are the Creator's, and you are the Creator's own, what portion of that plenitude could rightly be withheld from you? Here is the fact: Limitation is not inherent in reality. It resides in belief. The universe does not apportion scarcity. It mirrors the breadth of your receptivity. If you hold that you merit only just enough, then just enough appears. If you hold that you are worthy of overflow, overflow streams into your experience, often through avenues you could not have foreseen. Hence, self-concept is pivotal. If at your core, a voice still repeats, "I don't deserve wealth," or "I'm not one of the lucky ones," no external striving will truly burst the barrier. The labor, therefore, is less about grasping for more and more about dissolving the inner resistance that impedes the current. How is this done? Commence with speech. Alter the way you talk about yourself. Stop rehearsing constraints in dialogue. Refuse to echo the culture's refrain of lack. If you hear yourself say, "I can't afford that," stop and replace it with, "It is not a priority at the moment, but divine supply is endless and always finds its way to me." Notice the shift. Those words do not slam the door. They hold it ajar. Affirm frequently, "I was born into a universe of limitless wealth. I am a rightful heir to divine abundance. My every need is met before I even ask." These are not idle fantasies. They are recollections of the primal covenant between you and the infinite. And here is the marvel. When you start living as if abundance is guaranteed, your outer world reflects that certainty. Doors open. Coincidences surface. Funds show up from unforeseen avenues. What society labels luck is merely the divine coordinating events to match your inner position. Thus, winning the lottery is not the abrupt acquisition of something foreign to you. It is the lifting of a veil to expose what has long been poised for you. The ticket may serve as an instrument, but the real triumph is the awareness that proclaims, "I knew it all along." Speak it now without wavering. I claim my birthright of abundance. I am not requesting it. I am receiving it. Comment, "I claim it," if you embrace abundance as your sacred right. Unseen, quiet, steadfast. Such is the character of the principles governing abundance. They are not visible to the eye, yet they are as tangible and reliable as gravity. And just as you never question that a stone will descend when released, you can train yourself never to question that abundance arrives when you align with its laws. We inhabit a cosmos structured by order, not disorder. What seems like random chance is fundamentally the outcome of exact, dependable laws. The law of attraction, the law of circulation, and the law of divine timing are three such laws, pillars supporting the vast cathedral of prosperity. The law of attraction teaches that what you focus on, you invite. Your prevailing thoughts and emotions behave like magnets, attracting experiences that resonate with their frequency. Picture a radio tuner, set it to scarcity, and you'll receive only the soundtrack of not enough. Set it to abundance, and your life begins to broadcast a new song. The law of circulation states that all forms of wealth, money, insight, or openings are designed to move. Fearful hoarding blocks the conduit. Joyful generosity amplifies what comes back. As the sea's tides ebb and surge, so must life's currency. Hence, those who give unafraid appear perpetually supplied to give again. The law of divine timing teaches that every harvest has its appointed season. You cannot hasten a seed's emergence through force, nor postpone its ripening once its time has come. Your manifestation, be it a prize ticket, a commercial leap, or an unforeseen bequest, will appear precisely when it best serves you. Not a heartbeat early, not a heartbeat late. Imagine a magnificent mansion. Initially, you notice only splendor-sculpted railings, sparkling chandeliers, glossy marble. Yet the real magic is concealed, the delicate wiring threaded behind walls, conducting the current that illuminates each room. That wiring is universal law, invisible yet essential. Without it, the chandeliers remain mere decorations in darkness. Likewise, winning numbers are not conjured at the moment of the draw. They pre-exist within the field of infinite possibility. Universal law is the circuitry linking your present to that potential. When your thinking, feeling, and doing match your desire's frequency, the current runs and manifestation lights up. Here is a simple yet profound reality: you are already linked to all you seek. The home you envision, the financial ease you yearn for, the generosity you intend to embody, they exist, now finished and whole in the unseen. Your task is not to force them into being, but to permit their emergence by aligning yourself. I once knew a woman, Clara, who had played the lottery for years without success. She would purchase a ticket, muttering, "Well, maybe I'll get lucky this time," then scratch with a weary exhale. After studying universal laws, she altered her stance. She began to treat each ticket not as a last-ditch try, but as a sacred sign of readiness. She blessed the money she spent, affirming, "This multiplies and returns to me under grace." Within 6 months, she scored a meaningful win, no jackpot, but enough to erase her debts. Clara did not label it a partial victory. She recognized it as evidence of alignment, and thereafter, her life opened with greater ease and supply than before. Those laws were operative the entire time. She merely ceased opposing them. Here is where repetition serves you. The more you affirm and envision abundance, the more your subconscious claims it as reality. The more you speak, increase, the more you adjust your inner tuner to the frequency where abundance transmits without interference. The more you give and let go, the more the law of circulation saturates your life with returns. Let us pause. Close your eyes and picture the unseen framework of these laws as filaments of golden light extending everywhere, linking you with people, openings, and resources. Watch those strands draw taut, pulling your desire into your orbit. Sense the inevitability of that union. When you lean on universal law, the strain of figuring out how lifts. You need not chart the route your blessing travels. You need only remain attuned to the truth that it is already approaching. So choose, and right this moment, select one universal law to trust henceforth. Attraction, circulation, divine timing. Choose, declare, and live as if it cannot fail you, because it will not. There comes a moment, delicate yet unmistakable, when one shifts from testing luck to recognizing they are immersed in divine flow. It resembles stepping through an unseen threshold. On one side lie worry, skepticism, and ceaseless calculations of probability. On the other lie ease, trust, and the settled belief that what you desire is already yours. This transition is not recklessness nor naivete. It is a transformation of the foundation beneath your feet. Many engage the lottery from desperation or casual amusement. Their energy murmurs, "Maybe this will rescue me. Maybe this will fix it all." Yet desperation signals to the universe an alignment with lack, and whatever you align with, you draw more of. Alignment emerges not from need, but from knowing. It is the calm assurance of a farmer sowing into rich earth. He does not dash back daily in alarm, uprooting seeds to check for growth. He trusts the process. He understands the laws of nature favor him. A man called David once shared his account of this very shift. For years, he derided manifestation teachings as wishful thinking. Yet in a hard season of life, something in him yielded. He studied universal laws, and one sentence hit with uncommon power. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. He recognized that his cynicism did not shield him, it confined him. One evening, he purchased a ticket, but without the old bitterness or sneer. He treated it with the reverence one gives a symbolic covenant. He affirmed inwardly, "This is simply one of the channels through which God may bless me." He then placed the ticket in a small wooden box on his nightstand with a gratitude list. Each night, he opened the box, thanked the divine for abundance in motion, and pictured himself already inhabiting the ease that wealth affords. 2 months afterward, David won no grand jackpot, but sufficient to eliminate his mortgage and fund a long-awaited creative venture. He remarked that the money was lovely, yet the greater gift was the certainty of having crossed that unseen doorway into trust. Such is the nature of conscious change. You cease gambling and begin demonstrating. You stop scattering seed on stony ground, hoping for a stray sprout. You cultivate a garden you have intentionally prepared. The image deserves a pause. Picture 2 sowers. One person flings seeds randomly onto parched, fractured soil. He looks back, shrugs, and thinks, "Well, maybe something will grow." The other tends the earth waters, it pulls weeds, and sets each seed deliberately. She trusts the harvest is inevitable, not from luck, but because she has fashioned proper conditions. Your inner life is that soil. Alignment is the cultivation. Without it, even a jackpot may dissipate. With it, even a small prize can compound into greater wealth because you are attuned to increase. This explains why Florence Scovel Shinn described the game of life not as chance, but as a game ruled by precise spiritual statutes. In alignment, you do not defy the odds, you inhabit a state where odds do not apply. Therefore, a lottery win or any sudden blessing is no accident. It is an echo, an outward event mirroring inward preparedness. Pause and inquire. Do I still treat abundance like a throw of dice, or do I live as if it is assured already? If you await luck to save you, you remain outside the gates. But if you can stand in gratitude for blessings not yet visible, walking with the poised certainty of a landowner surveying a future crop, then you have entered within. This is the conscious crossing, and after it returning, brings the unease of misalignment. Share your shift moment, the instant you recognized you were meant for more. Before blessings can anchor outwardly, the ground within must be readied. Manifestation is not coercing the universe to deliver your wants. It is refining yourself into a vessel that receives without friction. Consider a storm. A bucket set under the torrent fills with ease. But if that bucket is loaded with rock soil or brackish water, even a deluge will not satisfy. Likewise, divine supply can cascade ceaselessly. Yet if your inner life is crowded with guilt, fear, resentment, or limits, the stream is obstructed. Many long for abundance, yet quietly fear it. They worry that having more will invite judgment, that it might slip away or alter their character. Others bear hand-me-down beliefs like unseen fetters. Money is perilous, the wealthy are selfish, comfort requires suffering. Such ideas construct inner walls, and divine supply honoring free will does not barge in. You must unfasten the gate. Start by asking, what is my earliest money memory? Perhaps it was hearing arguments over bills or being told we can't afford it. Early impressions harden into subconscious rules, but once recognized, they can be released. Murmur. I release every belief that wealth is unsafe. I release every belief that I must suffer to deserve good. I release every belief that others will suffer if I prosper. One of abundance's quiet saboteurs is guilt for possessing more, guilt for desiring more, guilt over past missteps. Yet your prosperity deprives no one. The universe is not a fixed pie. It is a bakery turning out infinite pies. Your wealth does not steal from your neighbor. It equips you to bless them. Regarding unworthiness, recall that divine gifts are granted not for merit, but for love. A flower does not earn the rain. It simply receives. Whenever guilt speaks, respond. I am worthy of all good simply because I am. My abundance blesses others as well as me. Scarcity wounds lodge in the body. They manifest as chest tightness over bills, a stomach knot at your balance, a reflexive grip on what you possess. To unwind them, restore safety to your nervous system. Start with small generosity, even a few coins or a simple kindness. Each fearless gift tells your body, I am safe. There is always more. Pair this with imagery. Envision an unending river of golden light surrounding, entering, and flowing through you, replenishing whatever you give instantly and easily. In time, your body will trust what your spirit already understands. You are sustained by an infinite source. Close your eyes and see a magnificent golden door, tall and broad, etched with elaborate symbols of prosperity, joy, and peace. You grasp the handle and feel its warmth as though the door knows you. You press lightly and it opens without effort. Beyond lies a vast hall brimming with treasures, gold gems, gardens, crystalline fountains, and the laughter of your beloveds. You recognize at once this belongs to you, not through struggle, but because it has awaited you from the start. You enter. The air is honeyed, the light gentle. Before you stands a table heaped with gifts, opportunities, connections, blessings in every form you have ever desired. A voice murmurs, all that I have is yours. Let that truth settle. This is the true nature of your bond with divine supply. Through the day, sow affirmations like seed, I am open to receive. My blessings come under grace in perfect ways. Every day, in every way, I grow richer in mind, body, and spirit. Initially, fear around money may persist, and that is normal. Your first aim is not instant elation, but neutrality, where money is neither menace nor trophy, merely a tool. From neutrality, joy arises of itself. You will feel the change when bills evoke gratitude for services rendered. When you discuss wealth without strain. When you celebrate others' prosperity without envy. From there, joy becomes your set point, and joy attracts. The universe hastens to a joyful recipient. Now record this. What belief about money am I prepared to release? Be candid without editing. Then inscribe the new truth you choose and say it aloud each morning until it feels as familiar as your name. If you are willing, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Inhale deeply, allowing your lungs to swell like a balloon of golden light. Then exhale slowly, as though releasing every lingering doubt about your worthiness to win. We start in the mind studio. This is the sacred chamber where worlds are constructed prior to birth. Florence Scovele Shinn named it the kingdom within, where imagination is not make-believe, it is rehearsal. Each thought is a brushstroke upon reality's canvas. Now, imagine a small slip of paper in your hand. It is a bit rigid, smooth, yet faintly fibrous beneath your fingertips. This is your lottery ticket. Notice the texture. Glide your thumb along the edge. Catch the subtle aroma of fresh ink, crisp and slightly metallic. Let your gaze follow the numbers you selected or the quick-picked digits the universe selected on your behalf. Hear the gentle rustle as you move it between your fingers. The sound feels intimate, hushed, like a promise in a whisper. Now picture yourself in your living room or that favorite nook you choose when hope rises. The television murmurs in the background. The drawing is only minutes off. The announcer's tone is upbeat, even charged with that bright expectancy that hovers before a life-altering moment. Your heartbeat drums a pattern you can feel. Then one after another, the numbers begin to roll out. The first number, yes, it aligns. The second, yours as well. By the third, you're bent forward, gripping the ticket so firmly your fingers have conformed to its outline. Fourth number, fifth number, and the room's air seems to hum. And then, the last number arrives. It's there. It's yours. A breath of mental stillness precedes the surge, pure, undiluted joy sweeping over you like sunlight shattering cloud. You spring to your feet. Maybe laughter, maybe tears. Your entire body knows the current has shifted. You have stepped from wanting into receiving. This is imagination's power, not idle wishing, but practicing triumph until the subconscious accepts it as accomplished. Cynthia Stafford grasped this principle. In 2007, she won $112 million in the California lottery. She did more than wish, she envisioned it daily. She selected a precise figure, $112 million, and wrote it again and again. She pictured holding the check, felt the freedom, saw her loved one's expressions. She inhabited that victory inwardly until it overflowed outwardly. You're called to do likewise. Imagination is not mere diversion, it is spiritual law. What you persistently behold inwardly infused with feeling must take shape. Let us return to your scene. Close your eyes once more. Rerun it. This time, heighten every detail. Hear your phone vibrate with messages of astonishment and congratulations. Smell the flowers sent in celebration. Taste the champagne or sparkling cider upon your lips as you toast. Feel the heft of the check in your grasp, dense with promise. Now, slow the reel. Picture the days after as reality settles. You have consulted advisors. You have taken prudent measures to safeguard and expand your wealth. You sleep soundly, knowing you are well supplied. This is your creative atelier. Enter it whenever you wish, dawn, dusk, or the hush between duties. Each visit adds a brushstroke to the masterpiece of your materialized reality. And here is Florence's secret. The subconscious cannot distinguish a vividly imagined scene from a physical one. It accepts whatever it is given as truth. Offer it abundance. Offer it joy. Offer it certainty. Now I invite you, yes you, to take a moment afterward and share your Victory Day vision in rich detail. Write as though recounting a memory. For the instant you speak script and see it, you begin to summon it. In every manifestation path, a time arrives when quiet hope must become vocal authority. It is the difference between lingering at a kingdom's border, gazing from a distance, and walking through its gates with the poise of one who belongs. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your word is your wand, not your thought, not your wish. Your spoken word, clear and unwavering, is the decree that activates unseen forces. Now you may wonder, what distinguishes an affirmation from a decree? An affirmation functions like a seed. With steady repetition and mindful tending, it is sown into the subconscious soil. I am abundant. I am prosperous. These statements are sustenance for the mind, nurturing a rich inner garden where good can readily grow. A decree, however, is different. A decree operates as a formal court order issued to the universe. It bears the weight of authority as if voiced on behalf of divine law itself. It is no casual suggestion, it is a definitive command fortified by the conviction that the result is already accomplished. When a judge delivers a decree in court, there is no begging, no pleading, only a factual pronouncement and an instruction to execute it. The same pattern applies to you when you speak with spiritual authority. When you voice a prosperity decree, you are not requesting abundance. You are asserting it as your birthright, as a reality already present in the invisible and now obligated to appear in the visible realm. Consider the cadence and character of decrees such as these. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, freely and without delay. The winning lottery ticket is mine now, and I handle my wealth with wisdom and joy. All channels are open for my prosperity. Nothing and no one can block it. My abundance is secure. Notice the distinction: there is no wavering. The language is precise, purposeful, and resolute, spoken without an ounce of hesitation. Here is a crucial insight: the subconscious responds to content and delivery alike. A shaky, doubtful tone sows uncertainty. A calm, confident voice signals that there is no option except the decree's fulfillment. Consider a brief story. Years back, I met a man, call him Daniel, who never labeled himself lucky. He came across the method of decreeing and chose to experiment. At dawn, each day, he stood at his kitchen window, gazed into the first light, and proclaimed, "The universe delivers to me the perfect winning opportunity. I accept it now without resistance." He never whispered or mumbled. He declared it as if addressing all creation itself. Within 6 weeks, he held a winning ticket, no grand jackpot, but a meaningful amount sufficient to retire debt and begin investing. Daniel told me a line I have never forgotten. The day I started speaking like it was already mine was the day the world started moving for me. This captures the core of decreeing. You are not seeking approval. You are exercising your God-given authority as a creative agent. Now let's practice together. Wherever you happen to be, at home alone, strolling outside, or resting quietly, speak these words aloud. I am a magnet for divine abundance. My lottery win is complete and revealed now. The law of good governs my life and cannot fail. Repeat it again and again. Sense the resonance of each phrase in your chest, as though the sound itself is engraving new realities into the unseen. Keep in mind, these decrees are not mere positive thinking. They function as legal pronouncements within the court of spiritual law. That court neither slumbers nor forgets. Once declared, the decree proceeds to fulfillment unless you cancel it by uttering words that contradict it. Hence, a caution: guard your speech. You cannot proclaim prosperity at sunrise and lament scarcity by noon. If a judge signs a release and then reverses it, the prisoner remains confined. Your words operate in precisely the same way. Therefore, for the sake of your manifestation, do not let casual talk nullify your decree. When fear surfaces, answer at once with your prosperity decree like a commander giving clear orders amid battle. Understand this well. There is a genuine spiritual mechanics at work. The frequency of your spoken word arranges the field of potential, choosing the outcome you command and summoning the relevant people, events, and conditions into orderly alignment. Florence expressed it perfectly. You will be a failure until you impress the subconscious with the conviction you are a success. This is done by making an affirmation which clicks. In this teaching, The click is the decree, that statement which strikes so true that it permits no foothold for doubt. Here is your exercise. Compose 3 prosperity decrees that feel potent to you. Make them clear, sufficiently specific to instruct the law, and framed in the present tense as though the result has already occurred. Then recite them morning and evening with the authority of a creator. When you are ready, share one with us. Write it boldly and publicly, not as a wish, but as a proclamation. The instant you release it into the collective space, its potency increases. I invite you now to post your preferred prosperity decree in the comments, adding your voice to the growing chorus that is calling abundance into form. Within you exists a realm in which numbers cease to be random and begin to carry meaning. This inner realm is not ruled by logic or statistics, even though the mind may attempt to press them into patterns. No, this region lies deeper. It is the hushed ocean of your inner knowing, where guidance rests like treasure below the surface, awaiting your willing dive. Florence Scovel Shinn frequently taught intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way. When it comes to selecting winning numbers, intuition functions not through analysis, but through receptivity. This is exactly where many stumble. They strain, push, and demand. Yet intuition refuses to yield to pressure. It resembles a pearl settled in deep water. The more frantically you churn the sea, the murkier everything grows. So we commence with stillness. Gently close your eyes. Notice your body settling into the seat. Rest your hands in your lap with open palms, not grabbing and not grasping, simply open. Draw in a long, slow breath. Then exhale and let your shoulders soften and fall. Now envision yourself at the edge of a tranquil sea. The surface is glass-like, mirroring the moon in softened silver. This expanse is your subconscious, clear, hushed, immeasurable. Beneath that surface rest your winning numbers, glowing like luminous pearls. You step forward and wade in. The water climbs to your knees, then to your waist. Its cool touch calms you. You fill your lungs and dive your body, gliding with ease. There within the still blue, you perceive them, tiny globes of light, each containing a number. They drift softly, as though patiently awaiting your attention. Some shine more intensely than others. You extend a hand and touch one, and its number stamps itself upon your awareness. Another appears, and another. You do not exert or compel. You simply allow what comes to arrive. This is the manner of intuition. At times, the numbers surface in dreams. You wake with their resonance in your mind like a melody hanging after the final note. At other times, they show up while you're awake, a license plate, a receipt sum, a street address repeating until they insist on your attention. Consider Elise. Each morning, she practiced stillness, 10 minutes of gentle breathing before the day began. One night, she dreamed of standing in a garden plucking apples. On each apple, a number was written. She chose 6. Upon waking, she recorded them immediately without analysis. That very week, she played those numbers and received a significant win. Elise explained that she never attempted to figure out which numbers to select. She simply opened her inner ear and received what arrived. There is good reason for this approach. The conscious mind, especially when saturated with desire, tries to seize control. It overthinks, interrogates, and second-guesses. The subconscious, however, taps a larger field of intelligence that already knows the outcome. If you can slip past the chatter and settle into that deeper link, you can touch what otherwise appears impossible. Therefore, I encourage you to keep a dedicated numbers journal. Here is a simple way to work with it. Whenever a number shows up unexpectedly, particularly if it repeats, record it at once. Whenever numbers appear in a dream, note them the moment you wake before the analytical mind begins to intrude. Each time a number floats into awareness during meditation, write it down promptly. Over time, patterns will surface. You may witness the same digits threading through your days, appearing in varied disguises, as if the universe were offering gentle clues. Do not disregard these signals. Avoid dissecting them to the point of fatigue. Simply preserve them, and when the inner nudge whispers, now choose to trust it. Understand that intuition operates as a partnership. You must create room for it to speak and be willing to act when it does. The pearl you recover from your inner ocean holds value only when you carry it ashore and use it. I have watched people receive numbers with striking clarity, only to dismiss them as not lucky enough. Weeks later, those very numbers were drawn. The sting of that missed chance proved harsher than any ordinary loss. Let us make a shared vow: when numbers arrive via dream symbol or instantaneous knowing, we will respect them. We will capture them on paper. We will trust them sufficiently to take action. Intuition is not a stray whisper from nowhere. It is the infinite's voice addressing you personally. I invite you to begin your numbers journal today. Keep it at your bedside, slip it into your bag, keep it within reach. Winning numbers may arrive in the grocery aisle, in the quiet before sunrise, or in a dream so vivid you wake with your heart racing. The pearls already lie within the sea. The remaining step is for you to dive in and bring them back. Wealth is not merely a heap of coins to be sealed away in a vault. It is a living, moving river, dynamic, renewing, and meant to flow. The instant you clutch it in fear, hoarding, and guarding, you constrict the very spring it flows from. As Florence Scovel Shinn taught, money, like the blood coursing through a body, must circulate to stay vibrant. When movement ceases, stagnation and decay inevitably set in. Picture a waterfall for a moment. High above, crystal water spills from a concealed spring, racing over stone, casting a delicate mist that feeds every leaf along its descent. The basin beneath brims with life fish, darting flowers, thriving the whole scene, vivid and animated. Now, imagine a dam halting that cascade, trapping the water in one sealed reservoir. Freshness would stagnate. The air would turn thick. Fish would perish. The vibrancy would drain away, life departing as the current is denied. This is precisely what occurs when we halt the current of giving. Vitality fades as the channel is closed. To be clear, giving is not depletion. Giving is enlargement. Each joyful, intentional release creates capacity for more to arrive. The act itself declares to the universe, I live in abundance, and I can afford to share, and that declaration widens the flow. Andrew Jack Whitaker's tale is frequently cited as caution. In 2002, he won $315 million in Powerball, catapulted overnight into great wealth. Yet within a few years, much of it was gone, and his life unraveled. The reason: he did give, but without discernment or guiding intent. His generosity was reactive, spurred by guilt and pressure rather than principle, so the circulation turned chaotic, and with that disorder, the framework of his wealth deteriorated. The law of circulation does not endorse reckless largesse. It calls for mindful, joyful giving, generosity anchored in wisdom and purpose. Envision this: you receive your lottery windfall. You safeguard investments, meet your needs, and establish long-term stability. Then, free of fear, you allocate a portion towards soul-stirring causes, Maybe scholarships for children who reflect your younger self. Maybe restoration efforts that keep rivers and forests flourishing for generations. Maybe a discreet gift to a struggling family with no expectation of return. In this light, the act of giving becomes worship and honoring of the source from which all prosperity continuously flows. Florence frequently reminded students man receives only that which he gives. This is not reward or punishment, it is simply law. As with breathing, you cannot only inhale. The exhale creates the space necessary for the next life-giving inhale. Now recall a moment when you gave freely, uncalculated. Remember the feeling lightness in your chest, a soft joy, and how shortly thereafter, something good arrived unexpectedly. It may not have mirrored your gift, yet it likely met a need precisely when you required it. That outcome is not mere chance. It is circulation in motion. When your fortune arrives, and it will make a sacred pact with yourself to keep the river living. Not from obligation or should, but because giving itself is the mechanism that sustains and multiplies the flow of wealth. Therefore, practice begins. Now start circulation today. If you hold $10, release $1 in a way that delights both you and the recipient. If you possess time, devote a portion to a cause that matters. If you have skills, contribute them where they are most needed. Such actions declare to the universe, I am already a river of wealth, a trustworthy steward ready to receive more. Do not postpone obedience to the law until a jackpot arrives. The law responds to what you do now, not to promises about what you intend someday. Then, when your win arrives, when the waterfall thunders in its full splendor, you will already be trained to let it move in channels that keep it fresh, vital, and ever increasing. I invite you now to share a time when giving ushered in an unexpected blessing. Your story might inspire someone to lift their dam and allow the river to move once more. A subtle clock times the opening of every flower, the swell of every tide, the hatching of every egg. Its hands are unseen, yet its rhythm is unmistakable. Florence Scovel Shinn named this precision divine timing, the flawless orchestration of events under spiritual law. The human mind, fidgeting and impatient, craves immediate results. Yet a seed does not blossom upon touching soil. A garden does not flourish the instant it is planted. Likewise, your lottery win, though assured in the invisible, has a precise hour appointed for its appearing. Consider the farmer. He tills, sows, and waters with constancy, yet he does not excavate the seed each dawn to verify progress. He trusts the process, knowing that beneath the surface, unseen work proceeds, roots weaving the kernel, stirring a green shoot-gathering force to pierce the earth. Uproot it too soon, and you ruin exactly what you desire. So, it is with manifestation. Premature interference damages the bloom you seek. Divine timing is not postponement. It is exquisite precision. Joan Ginther understood this truth. She won the Texas lottery 4 separate times, amassing over $20 million. While headlines shouted lucky, her own account conveyed something else: steady participation without frenzy, a calm assurance that her wins would arrive at their appointed hour. She refused to force outcomes or fear a losing ticket. She trusted the clock moving toward her harvest. This is the posture to cultivate active, engaged patience. Active patience is not idle waiting or anxious hand-wringing. It means living fully and joyfully in the interim, trusting your win is already yours in the unseen, and expanding your life in readiness to receive it well. Imagine yourself as a host readying a grand celebration. You know guests will arrive at the stated hour. You do not hover at the door for hours fretting. You spend the time preparing, arranging flowers, setting the table, making the space gracious and ready. Your win is the honored guest. The invitation has gone out, the date fixed by the divine clock. Meanwhile, you prepare not in worry, but in delight, crafting a welcome worthy of what is on its way. Let us rehearse together. Close your eyes and envision the day of your win as before. Feel the joy, the freedom, the exhilaration. Now, return your attention to this moment. Ask, what can I do today that aligns me with that very joy? Perhaps it is studying wealth management to steward millions wisely. Perhaps it is practicing gratitude for abundance already present. Perhaps it is savoring simple luxuries that foreshadow the life you are entering. Each joyful, abundance-affirming action today waters the seed without disturbing the soil that shelters it. The urge to check, measure, and doubt is the gardener's constant test. Remember, the invisible clock is exact. It neither bends to worry nor speeds up for impatience. It delivers when the foundation can truly sustain the blessing. Florence once wrote, "The invisible forces are ever working for man who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it." In essence, your inner state, faith, joy, and expectation continually shapes both the manner and the timing of what becomes visible. Therefore, adopt this daily practice when the question arises, why hasn't it happened yet? Stop, take a breath, and affirm aloud. Everything I desire is arriving in perfect divine timing. I rest in trust and live in joy until its perfect hour. Let this be your anchor, carrying you gracefully through the in-between season. When that precise hour arrives, when numbers align and the announcer reads your ticket, you will recognize it could not have come a moment sooner or later. The hidden clock, faithful all along, was right on time. Now I invite you to consider and share. What will you do while you wait joyfully for your win? This is no idle query. Your answer becomes the blueprint for your in-between life, the fertile season preceding the harvest. Before dawn's first light lays its golden fingers across the sky, a sacred hush settles, a stillness so pure it feels as if the world holds its breath for you. This is the hour of beginnings, not only a new day, but the beginning of your deliberate choice to live as though victory already belongs to you. You refuse to postpone the feeling of winning until a ticket confirms it. You inhale the win now. You rise not as a seeker stretching toward a far-off dream, but as one who already inhabits it. Your shoulders recognize it. Your heartbeat affirms it. A calm confidence rests in your chest, a certainty that needs no external proof because it is itself the proof. Though the room remains dim, an inner glow radiates from within. Each breath quietly proclaims to the universe, I have arrived. My good arrives with me. Before your feet touch the floor, you savor this warmth. You inhale slowly and deeply, picturing the air as liquid gold infusing your body with ease and vitality. You hold just long enough to feel its strength, then exhale gently, the sound of someone already satisfied. You smile not due to outer circumstance, but because inwardly you are complete. You stand and move as if life has just delivered the very news you've awaited. The way you open a door, pour water, and greet the morning all bears the steady confidence of one who crossed the finish line before the race began. The mind may murmur, but nothing has happened yet. Your spirit answers, everything has already happened. I am living the result right now. The kettle's boil becomes the drumbeat of a celebration. The gentle light entering the kitchen feels like applause. The aroma of coffee or tea becomes the scent of fulfillment. You select one small detail, the curl of steam perhaps, and let it justify your joy. You clap softly, chuckle under your breath, and whisper thanks into the room. This is the art of celebrating ahead of evidence, and in doing so, you rouse the evidence itself, which is pulled irresistibly toward the frequency you maintain. In this condition, wealth is no longer confined to figures on a ledger or items on a shelf. Wealth becomes the air you breathe, the ease moving through your body, the peace resting in your mind. Each step keeps time with the rhythm of already done. This is not pretense or mere hope. It is remembrance of who you truly are, the source from which the outward symbols naturally flow. I once knew a woman who yearned for a great windfall. She counted her coins daily and sighed, repeating, "One day, I'll be free." Those sighs kept her chained to the notion that freedom was distant. Then she learned a truth that transformed her life: embody freedom now, and it will meet you in form. She changed her gait greeting each morning as someone already supplied. She wore her current clothes as if they were couture, thanked her meals as though they were banquets, and smiled when paying bills, trusting more would arrive to fill the space. Within weeks, opportunities surfaced: surprise contracts, generous gifts, doors she had overlooked swinging open. The outer world yielded to the inner decree she had established: I am the win before the ticket. As the hours of the day open, you sustain this current through modest, consistent acts. You refuse to sprint past experiences. Instead, you linger and savor them. You carry yourself with the poise of someone already well provisioned. And if a call delivers unwelcome news, you recall a crucial fact: nothing can remove what you have already become. External conditions can only reorganize themselves to conform to the truth you hold within. Living in this manner renders you effortlessly magnetic. Others feel it when they are near you. They register the composed assurance, the quiet joy that neither grasps nor pursues nor negotiates. It simply allows and receives, and in that receptive state, further gifts naturally arrive. You cease to be the one who searches. You become the destination itself. Dawn functions as your declaration, and the unfolding hours serve as your ongoing affirmation. Each evening, as you drift to sleep, you do not cradle yearning. You settle into gratitude for a life already brimming over. You have grasped the essential secret: the win is not an object you clutch. The win is the inner state you select before reality has time to respond. Once you embody that state, outward delivery follows as a certainty. Therefore, as you proceed, hold fast to this sacred cadence. Breathe as a victor, move as a victor, and offer thanks as a victor, not in reaction to a ticket's arrival, but because you yourself are the ticket. In turn, all things resonant with your frequency will locate you, absent strain, absent pursuit, and absent postponement. Here is the true starting point of the day. Here is the true beginning of the win. And at this very moment, it belongs to you already. As you inhabit this truth, you will detect a subtle yet potent force moving through your life: gratitude. Not the variety that follows a gift placed in your palm, but the type that wells up spontaneously like sunlight streaming into a room before the blinds are lifted. Gratitude functions simultaneously as the seed and as the harvest. You sense it while witnessing the most ordinary details: light sliding across the wall, a faraway laugh, the comforting heat of a cup in your palm. These are not trivialities. They are indicators, signals that moment-to-moment life is conspiring in your favor. Each recognition amplifies the potency of that evidence. In truth, what you appreciate tends to appreciate. Gratitude acts like sunlight, summoning every prosperity seed to sprout from the soil of possibility. Absent gratitude, blessings remain dormant, waiting for the warmth of recognition to rouse them. In its presence, however, indeed, with abundant gratitude, the harvest accelerates and increases. You may decide to devote a few minutes daily to capturing these instances, not out of obligation to keep a list, but because writing them is akin to setting them in more fertile soil. As the pen moves, your heart notices more, opens further, and anticipates greater good. You note a stranger's kindness, the taste of ripe fruit, the effortless resolution of a problem. Soon you have cultivated an entire field of gratitude that inevitably produces additional blessings. I once encountered a story about a man who had seen almost everything stripped away: his job, his home, and the anchoring certainty he relied upon. He felt abandoned by the world. Yet one morning, seated at a kitchen table with only a slice of bread and a glass of water, he murmured, "Thank you." He did not utter those words because the bread already sufficed. He spoke them because he recognized that gratitude could render it sufficient, and from sufficiency expand it into more. In the ensuing days, he discovered ever more causes for gratitude. A neighbor offered a ride. An old friend extended a dinner invitation. An overlooked refund posted to his account. Gradually, the void transformed into a mosaic of small mercies. Those mercies evolved into opportunities, and those opportunities into tangible abundance. Within a year, his life surpassed its former fullness. When asked how he had managed it, he smiled and replied, "I thanked my way here." Gratitude is not merely a mirror of abundance, it is a generator of it. It sharpens your vision to notice doors you might have missed. It softens the heart, enabling you to receive without guilt or pause. It reshapes your inner dialogue, for in gratitude, there is neither self-critique, nor scarcity, nor comparison, only the recognition of blessings present and blessings en route. You can access this feeling immediately. Survey your surroundings, not seeking what is absent, but observing what is here. Select one detail, however modest, and allow your appreciation to deepen. Notice the body's release when you give thanks, the opening of the chest, the calming of the breath. This is more than a fleeting mood, it is an energetic summons. The more often you extend it, the more reliably it circles back. If prosperity resembled a garden, gratitude would be its sun. Without that steady warmth, even the richest soil and most deliberately planted seeds cannot flourish. Under its illumination, however, all things grow, both the seeds you sowed on purpose and the ones you did not realize lay waiting latent talents, unnoticed opportunities, and relationships poised to blossom. Here is the grace of the matter: sunlight plays no favorites. It does not reserve its glow for the grand or flawless. It illumines what already exists, inviting growth. Gratitude behaves the same way. Practiced sincerely, it does not wait for conditions to appear perfect. It extends to what is imperfect, unfinished, and evolving, and you then witness transformation beneath your appreciative gaze. Envision your whole life as this garden. Each thought, deed, and uttered word is a seed, some for joy, some for love, some for wealth, some for healing. They rest silently within the soil of your being, awaiting their moment. Then you arrive as the light bearer, bringing thanks. As you voice them, Thank you for this day. Thank you for this body. Thank you for this chance you rouse the seeds. You announce it's time to rise, and they respond by rising. Gratitude not only equips you to receive more, it equips you to become more. It shifts your energy so thoroughly that even ahead of external shifts, the internal transformation is unmistakable. You carry yourself with greater stature, communicate with ease, and discern possibility where others detect obstacles. You evolve into someone who does not wait for life to supply, but continually discovers the abundance life has already supplied. Consequently, you end each day not preoccupied with unmet desires, but cognizant of what already rests in your hands, in your heart, and along your path. You breathe a quiet thank you into the night and sense the world's answering smile. The harvest is underway and will continue because you have ceased to be a passive recipient of blessings and become an active multiplier of them. As gratitude turns into your effortless respiration, you start to notice the connective threads linking all you have learned, practiced, and affirmed. The fragments cease to feel isolated. They interlace into a dynamic tapestry, a living map for moving through continual abundance. At this point, the 7 steps of manifestation blend into a single unbroken mode of existence. You behold yourself at the map's center. Encircling you are 7 luminous paths, each embodying a truth you have already encountered. The sharpness of vision, the potency of your declarations, the direction of intuition, the liberating generosity of circulation, the exact cadence of divine timing, gratitude's multiplying power, and the complete embodiment of victory. The initial path is vision. This is your point of origin, perceiving not with the body's eyes, but with the soul's sight. You practiced rendering the scene before the frame existed, inhabiting it as if it were already realized. Now vision has ceased to be an occasional technique. It has become your default lens. When difficulty shows up, you look beyond the obstruction, perceiving the evolving good it is destined to usher in. The second path is the word, your decrees, affirmations, and spoken truth. You recognize that words are never throwaway. They are seeds with substance and gravity. Every utterance lands in the soil of your life, shaping what can grow. Therefore, you speak with care, with joy, and with intention. You declare, I live in abundance. I am fully supplied. My path is clear and blessed. As these statements leave your lips, you sense their resonance moving outward, brushing unseen thresholds and stirring opportunities not yet visible. The third path is intuition, the quiet inner guidance that doesn't blare, but gently directs you toward the fitting time, the wise decision, the aligned connection. You have trained yourself to trust it when logic offers no commentary, and to heed it even when it points beyond the familiar. You recall its interventions that averted missteps and its nudges that revealed hidden treasure. Now you move as a practiced listener, tuned to the faint signals indicating where your good abides. The fourth path is circulation, the realization that giving and receiving are a single rhythm, a single inhale and exhale. You no longer clutch at possessions or outcomes, knowing that what you release circles back enlarged. You give from joy rather than anxiety, and you receive with equally open palms. Money, affection, kindness, and chances move through you like water. Because you refuse to build a dam, the current does not diminish. The fifth path is divine timing. You have abandoned the impulse to impose your calendar on events, trusting that life knows when the ground is prepared, when the warmth is sufficient, and when the harvest will taste best. Impatience loosens its hold because postponement no longer equals refusal. You keep step with the cadence of already accomplished, letting the outer world converge with your inner state at the precise appointed moment. The sixth path is gratitude, now deeply rooted within. It tints each moment with appreciation, enlarges every blessing, and turns even intervals of waiting into offerings. Like consistent sunlight, it warms and quickens all your planted seeds. The seventh path is embodiment, the integrative step that renders all the rest as visible evidence. You do not just conceptualize wealth, you move through the world as wealth. You do not only picture joy, you bear joy in your stance, your voice, and your decisions. You are no longer rehearsing to become. You are being. The external is simply aligning itself to the inner reality you maintain. Standing at the heart of these 7 avenues, you observe how seamlessly they interweave, each reinforcing the next. You recognize yourself as the hero of this pilgrimage, not due to battle or conquest, but due to remembrance. You remembered your role as co-creator, magnetic axis, and living vessel of limitless provision. Consequently, you start composing a living plan to sustain this state across all the days ahead. You picture mornings opening in quiet triumph, afternoons overflowing with inspired action, and evenings concluding in thanks. You select life-giving language, heed the soft prompts of inner knowing, participate in easy giving and receiving trust, the timing, and celebrate the gifts seen and unseen that already surround you. You come to understand there is no final tape to break. The jackpot was never one instant or one figure. It is the thorough alignment of thought, speech, emotion, and action with the reality of abundance. That alignment has become your identity. You have entered the stream of unending good, and it continues to bear you onward, not through strain, but through the simple fact of being in its flow. In this very moment, you inhale and allow your entire body to register it. The map is no longer merely an image you study. It is the terrain you now traverse and inhabit. From here on, each step is taken in abundance, for abundance itself has become the earth beneath your feet. As you move into that first stride, you murmur the phrase that seals your intention, "I walk in abundance." You sense the words rooting within you, anchoring down like living tendrils. Simultaneously, they unfurl like wings, elevating your spirit. And you recognize beyond even a trace of doubt that these words articulate truth. Continuing in abundance, a deeper realization dawns. Prosperity was never designed to live in one narrow domain. Wealth is not limited to balances on a page or currency in your palm. Genuine abundance overflows, soaking into every quadrant of your life. It reveals itself in your vitality, your connections, your creative flow, and your lived freedom. The first evidence appears in your body. A new vitality hums beneath the surface, a subtle current of well-being coursing through you. You rise with greater energy, not due to flawless sleep, but because you have put down the burden of not enough. Your cells answer to your joy. Each breath feels nutritive. Movement becomes a celebration, not an obligation. You eat to fuel rather than merely fill, and you rest to renew rather than only to rebound. Next, abundance becomes visible in your relationships. Living as one already fulfilled, you no longer grasp at others to fill a void. You meet people as equals, whole individuals who share in your joy rather than manufacture it for you. Dialogues grow more meaningful. Bonds fortify. You increasingly stand among companions who mirror your inner wealth friends, who uplift partners who honor, and strangers who brighten in your presence. Even long-standing frictions ease because you no longer engage them from a stance of lack. Your creative life flowers as well. Concepts that once seemed remote or delicate now stream freely, buoyed by your conviction in boundless possibility. You write paint design and sing not out of duty, but because expression has become irresistible. No longer hoarding energy merely to survive, you invested in creation. You recognize that creativity is a form of wealth, one that multiplies beyond conventional metrics. You come to regard the day in a new light. Each morning ceases to be a survival checklist. It becomes a canvas awaiting your touch. You select colors with courage, linger to savor the texture of each moment, and trust that the composition is continually turning in your favor. Even difficulties become brushstrokes, adding dimension impossible to achieve without them. In this mode of living, wins arrive daily. They may be subtle rather than spectacular, quiet rather than thunderous, but they persist. A soul-nourishing exchange, an unforeseen solution, the light striking a pane at the perfect angle. These are your understated jackpots, compounding into a richness no isolated windfall could match. A transformational insight settles in. There is no beyond abundance, because abundance has no boundary. It does not conclude at your account, balance, or halt at your fence. It is the unseen filament threading through all that is good, what you touch, behold, feel, and bring forth. When you attune to it, you discover it where others pass by the smile, exchange the quiet peace of your own thoughts, the laughter that rises unbidden. Therefore, you choose live as if each day is a victory. Not because all moments are flawless, but because flawlessness is no longer the standard. Presence is the measure. Connection is the measure. The steady conviction that life collaborates with you, not opposes you, is the measure. From this knowing, even the smallest instants glean a luminous sheen. This is life beyond the jackpot, the existence in which you refuse to hinge worth on one spectacular event, since success is ongoing, both measurable and ineffable. In this life, wealth becomes your manner of breathing love, your manner of speaking, and joy your manner of moving. Live thus, and material expressions naturally follow as further reflections of the wholeness already within you. Each domain of life becomes arable soil. Health fortifies. Relationships deepen. Creative capacity widens. Openings appear without strain. You stand at the center, aware that the current does not end. There is only more to explore, more to welcome, and more to circulate. You carry this truth forward. The jackpot was never numeric. It was always a state of being. Now that you have entered it, it will continue to meet you again and again in myriad forms. The atmosphere shifts. A pregnant stillness settles, full, vibrant, awaiting a final word. You have traversed the paths, assembled the tools, and practiced the truth. Now you are prepared to seal it not merely as concept, but as the living vibration of your whole being. Close your eyes briefly and attend to the cadence of your breath. Allow it to slow and deepen until every inhale feels like pure light entering, and every exhale like releasing all that isn't aligned with your abundance. Your body loosens. Your mind grows still. Your heart opens wide. In this sanctuary, we utter words that craft worlds, not as hopes, but as decrees, not as pleas, but as truth. Let them rise, not just from your mouth, but from your core, from the knowing place within. As you speak, sense the sound resound through you as if every cell were keenly attentive. I am abundance in form. I am the wind before the ticket. I walk in the certainty of my good. I live in the overflow of infinite supply. I give freely, I receive freely, I trust completely. All that is mine by divine right comes to me now with ease and joy. Allow these words to settle. Draw them inward with your breath. Feel them drape over you like a luminous cloak. Then speak once more, this time with amplified conviction. I am abundance in form. I am the wind before the ticket. I walk in the certainty of my good. I live in the overflow of infinite supply. I give freely, I receive freely, I trust completely. All that is mine by divine right comes to me now with ease and joy. Repetition cuts the channel deeper. With each utterance, the truth is etched more firmly into the framework of your reality. Now speak them a third time, letting every syllable vibrate with the certainty that it is already accomplished. I am abundance in form. I am the wind before the ticket. I walk in the certainty of my good. I live in the overflow of infinite supply. I give freely, I receive freely, I trust completely. All that is mine by divine right comes to me now with ease and joy. You pause attuned to the silence that follows. It is not a void. It is the quiet of seeds settling roots, gripping life beginning to stir below the surface. You trust this process. You know that what has been sown will grow. The soil is fertile, the light generous, and the truth vibrant within you. Widen your awareness. Envision yourself in the life you have summoned, not someday, but now. Health, love, joy, freedom, creativity, and resources, all present, vivid, and complete. Behold them, feel them, hold them with your mind's touch. Draw them into your chest with your breath. Let this be as tangible as the earth underfoot. Remain here a little longer, inviting every part of you into agreement. No resistance, no doubt, no postponement, only yes, only accomplished, only now. With one final deep breath, you seal it with words that will reverberate within you long beyond this moment. It is done. It is done. It is done. The atmosphere lightens. The stillness turns into a soft hum, as if life's fabric has heard and begun to rearrange itself in answer. You open your eyes with the certainty that you have not merely spoken these phrases, you have embodied them. They will continue to unfurl, appearing as forms, as blessings, as miracles, again and again without cessation. You rise bearing the certainty that you are a magnet for steady prosperity, that your days compose an uninterrupted stream of winds, modest and monumental, and that your presence enriches whatever you engage. There is no need to chase, to strain, or to justify. Your task is simply to be, and in being, to attract every good thing. And so you move ahead, quietly luminous, profoundly assured, wholly abundant, aware that this is not an ending, but the commencement of living the journey you have claimed.